Come with me for just a little while. Imagine the noise of your day slowly fading behind you. The phones are quiet. The responsibilities are waiting somewhere in the distance. In front of you, there is only a peaceful river. The current moves without rushing. The breeze carries a scent of fresh earth, and there is an empty place beside the water with your name on it. Sit here. You do not have to impress anyone here. You do not have to explain why you've been tired. You do not have to pretend you've been stronger than you really are. Just sit, because the greatest conversations with God rarely begin with polished words. They begin with honest hearts. For a long time, many people have believed that prayer must sound beautiful. They think every sentence should be confident. Every request should be respectful. Every ending should feel hopeful. But what if God has never been waiting for perfect words? What if he has simply been waiting for you? Think about how many times you've answered the question, "How are you?" with one simple word. Fine. Even when your heart wasn't fine. Even when sleep escaped you. Even when worry followed you into every room. Even when disappointment quietly settled inside your chest. Somewhere along the way, many of us learned to hide the deepest parts of ourselves, not only from people, but even from God. We bring him the edited version. We tell him what sounds spiritual. We leave out the fear. We skip the anger. We bury the disappointment. We silence the questions. Yet none of those things surprise him. He already knows every thought before it becomes a sentence. Still, he invites us to speak. Not because he needs information, but because love grows where honesty is welcomed. Imagine a father sitting beside a child who has fallen while learning to walk. The father already saw the fall. He knows the scraped knee hurts. Still, he gently asks, "Tell me what happened." Not because he doesn't know, because he wants the child to trust him enough to say it. That is the invitation of prayer, not performance. Trust, God is not waiting for a speech. He is waiting for your voice. Perhaps today your heart carries something you've never said aloud. Maybe you're disappointed by how life has unfolded. Maybe you prayed for years without seeing the answer you expected. Maybe you're exhausted from carrying responsibilities that no one else notices. Or maybe you become so used to pretending everything is okay that you don't even know how to describe what you're feeling anymore. If that's you, then hear this. You don't have to solve your emotions before bringing them to God. You simply have to bring them. Throughout Scripture, we meet people who did exactly that. They cried. They questioned. They celebrated. They mourned. They confessed. They waited. Their prayers were not always elegant. Sometimes they were only a whisper. Sometimes they were tears without words. Sometimes they were silence filled with hope. And still, God listened. Psalm 62 reminds us with these beautiful words. Trust in him at all times, you people. Pour out your hearts before him, for God is our refuge. Notice that invitation. It doesn't say to pour out your perfect thoughts. It says to pour out your heart. A heart contains everything. Joy, fear, hope, regret, confusion, gratitude, longing. All of it belongs in his presence. When Scripture calls God our refuge, it paints the picture of a safe shelter during a storm. A refuge does not criticize the traveler for arriving soaked by the rain. It welcomes him inside. God's heart is like that. He is not standing at the entrance measuring your worthiness. He opens the door every single time. Maybe today your prayer doesn't need many words. Maybe it simply needs truth. I'm tired. I don't understand. I'm afraid. I've been pretending. I miss you. I need help. Simple sentences can become powerful prayers when they are honest. The beautiful thing about God's love is that it does not become smaller when our faith feels weak. His faithfulness is not dependent on our emotions. He remains constant, even when we feel distant, even when we feel uncertain, even when we wonder whether he hears us at all. The river beside us keeps flowing. Its movement reminds us that life continues. Seasons change, and God's mercy never stops moving toward us. Every sunrise brings another opportunity to begin again, not because yesterday didn't matter, but because grace meets us every morning. Here's a simple practice you can carry with you. Before your next prayer, pause for just a moment. Take one slow breath. Then quietly ask yourself, what am I truly carrying today? Don't search for the spiritual answer. Search for the honest one. Whatever comes to mind, offer it to God exactly as it is. If you're joyful, tell him. If you're discouraged, tell him. If you're confused, tell him. If you're grateful, tell him. Nothing is wasted in his presence. Then, after you've spoken, remain still for a few moments. Not because silence earns his attention, but because love often speaks most clearly when we stop rushing. Sometimes peace arrives quietly. Sometimes clarity takes time. Sometimes nothing changes immediately on the outside, yet something begins changing within. The heart becomes lighter, not because every problem disappears, but because it no longer carries those burdens alone. That is one of the quiet miracles of prayer, not escaping life, sharing it with God. So today, wherever you are, picture this peaceful river once more. Imagine yourself sitting on the soft bank beneath the open sky. There is no pressure here, no audience, no performance, only the steady presence of the one who has loved you long before this moment. He already knows every chapter of your story, the victories, the failures, the questions, the hopes you've almost given up on, and still he invites you closer. Not tomorrow, not when you have everything figured out. Today, as you are. So before you continue with the rest of your day, let your heart whisper one honest sentence. It doesn't have to be impressive. It only needs to be true, because the God who welcomes you is not looking for perfect prayers. He delights in honest hearts. May you leave this moment remembering one simple truth. You never have to earn God's invitation. His love has already made room for you. And every time you come to him with honesty, you will find the same faithful refuge, the same open arms, and the same gentle voice saying, "Come, sit with me. Tell me what is on your heart."